660 day 6. So this is basically just day 5 but worse, because you've got the same first boss with SI7 Smuggler, and then you've got artillery strikeable bosses in the middle, but at the end you have this Acolyte of N'Zoth who leaves behind 2 Tentacles with a death rattle when you artillery strike it. So we're basically just trying to artillery strike and then to have something left that can kill those 2 Tentacles. And the primary thing that they do is a 4-speed melee attack, the Creeping Madness ability that Rathian has. So you just need a way to deal with that, basically, and then you should be able to beat them. So any of these comps here that we use for day 5 should work, and you can check out the day 5 video to see how those played. But I'm going to just use this Lokholar one because it's the one I've been farming with, and I've swapped out Edwin because he was being used for the Air Elemental fight. You might want to use Rogers in this slot because of Garrosh as the 3rd boss. And for Garrosh, when you artillery strike him, if he doesn't get one-shot by the artillery strike, then he gets a Divine Shield from the red ad, and then a second artillery strike will not kill him because of the Divine Shield. So you really need to one-shot him with artillery strikes, so if you don't have enough artillery strike damage to kill him with an off-color artillery strike, you might need to use Rogers. And when you order your party, make sure that you put your Rogers as your first artillery strike in the party order, and then you just play out your mercs in whatever order you want after that, because then your Rogers artillery strike will go off first, kill Garrosh, and then your other ones can go off afterwards to clean up the rest. The second boss is also Apothecary Helbrim, and really all that boss does that's threatening is melee attacks. So if you use either like Khadgar or anything that can shut down 2 to 3 melee attackers, because the 2 ads usually melee attack on turn 1, and then the boss sometimes also melee attacks, so you could potentially have 3 melee attackers coming in for around like 200 to 250-ish is what I've seen on my anomalies. Melee damage from reds and blues, then you should be fine on that fight. Or you can just let something die or rely on them targeting Bwonsamdi, and then as long as you get through the rest of the fight, you should be fine. So this Medivh comp is one that's really flexible, so if you use that strategy from yesterday and just beat it with Genn, Bwonsamdi, and Medivh, then you have 3 party slots that you can put whatever you want in. So you could bring go up to 4 artillery strikes like we did here, or you could swap out some of these artillery strike mercenaries for things that guarantee the win against the Tentacle at the end. So you could bring like Arphis and Khadgar and keep Arphis alive until the last boss, and then you have a slow and then into infinite roots to deal with those Tentacles. You could bring like Nemsy and try to hit Can't Touch This and have a bunch of taunts and stuff to throw in the way. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. You could even do something with Holmes with the paid up front elementary to get like multi-freezes, or just provide a Divine Shield to like a taunt or something. So there's quite a few different options for this day, but this is pretty much a one and done kind of day. You would never want to farm this. So you just want to get it over with and go back to day 5 or day 4 or whatever was the best farm for you this week. So I'm just going to use the comp I've been farming day 5 with because it's the same first boss and it kills it really quickly, and it has some pretty good options for after that. I've replaced the Edwin in this slot with Voone instead, because Voone has a spammable 4-speed attack, and if you hit the Frost Ritual on Varden, then you can use Frost Dart on Balinda and Axe Throw on Voone after the Frost Ritual, and they will both freeze, because this Frost Ritual is bugged. And while it says your next ability freezes this target, what it actually does is all targeted abilities for the rest of the turn freeze their target. So the Voone Axe Throw will freeze the primary target, but not the one that gets cleaved by the second hit. And then the Frost Dart will freeze its target as well. So you can freeze at 4 speed before the Creeping Madness 4 speed attacks from those Tentacles go off. So that's a pretty good win condition. And this just kills the boss really quick. So the equipments are Lesser Water Elemental, Arena Contender, Gilnean Strength, Band of Frost, Icy Focus, and I'm using Dragon Rune X because these other equipments are bugged, because Mercenaries is a very buggy mode. They said they fixed the ranks going past rank 4, but it was only for a few mercenaries, and Voone was not one of the fixed ones. Neither was Rogers. So for this comp, we just start with Balinda, Bwon, and Genn. We freeze one of the Whelps and bounce. And we pop one egg with Genn, so we go here, do a bounce, and then we're going to pop this egg. And then turn 2, we bring out Balinda, Bwonsamdi, and Varden. And because I got low attack anomaly, I get to stick around with this water elemental, and I might actually kill this boss on turn 3. I'm just going to not bother killing off any mercenaries. Okay, so we do Balinda, Varden, and Bwonsamdi. This positioning shouldn't really matter. And they're going to flip all around on me with that bugged positioning thing. So I actually placed this water elemental between these two, but it didn't want to cooperate, so I guess it's over here. But it won't matter, because we don't let them act on this turn anyway. So we got 2 6 speeds. I also fixed the deck tracker to be captured by the OBS, so since we don't have any 5 speeds here, we can just swing here. Actually, I'm going to swing there and cold snap, and I'm going to pop this egg so that I can swing with this water elemental here. And that gets me additional frost ramp, because if I swing with both elementals on this whelp, it'll die, and then I won't get a cold snap. If I swing with an elemental on one of these, then it will take damage on this water elemental unnecessarily. So I'm just skipping the frostburn and doing a flame dart instead so that I can get this additional ramp, because the ramp from Varden is actually more than the ramp from a frostburn. I don't really care about the AoE damage. The ramp from the Band of Frost is better because of Lokholar next turn. So after this bounce, we just bring out Lokholar, Varden, and Balinda. And we may very well kill them this turn. Not sure. How big was the health anomaly? $1,100. This is kind of a high health anomaly, so I might not kill them this turn. But we're going to do a lot of damage. So I want to kill this so that it doesn't eat up hailstorm hits. So I'm going to swing with all 3 of these here. And then that'll pop it and then kill the whelp inside. And these don't retarget. And when this hatches, the targets are preserved and they hit the whelp. And then I'm just going to do some frost damage and then our hailstorm. We just do this first for a extra Band of Frost proc. So if we had a lower health anomaly, or maybe even if that was split more evenly and we got good value out of the AoE, they would have died this turn. I could kill anyone that I want off here, so you know I've got high damage Frost Dart or Snowball to kill my own units. Lokholar's not super useful to take forward, so you could kill him off, but I'm just gonna go ahead and end the fight. So that's frozen, and then that's a kill. So give me an artillery strike. Nice. And none of this should really matter. He already has a spammable 4-speed attack in case we hit the Varden treasure, so you don't really need a fire ritual. I don't need a second artillery strike either, but Alright, I guess Atiesh is better than Cone Cold, because 4-speed attacks from the Tentacles are really the threat. And once again for Garrosh, I think he has, is it 260 HP? Let's see. 290. So if you don't do at least 290 damage, you're going to need to use Rogers and put Rogers as your first artillery strike in the party. Because you see he got that Divine Shield there from the first hit, and that's due to this red Shah ad here. Okay, so Icy Arrival is really good. Atiesh is pretty good too. This procs on every bounce. This is a battle cry, so I'm going to take that one. It can hit the same target though. It doesn't like automatically freeze things that are... So I'll take this, because I don't really care if he dies. I might just chuck him out there on turn 1. And see if he gets killed. You could do the same with Varden, because so if you play like those Death Rattle AoE freeze mercenaries and you pair them with Bwonsamdi, then when you bounce with Bwonsamdi, if they happen to attack and kill those units, then it guarantees that Bwonsamdi will just refresh those freezes. Because you see these guys get pretty big, but they don't have a lot of hit points. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw him out here. And then we could use Icy Arrival. But then Varden could die to that. So I'm just going to throw Voone out. And now, if they attack Voone, whatever. If they attack Bwonsamdi, and they're not even both attacking, so we get the Nyalothan strike on one of them, so we only have one big hit coming in. If they attack Bwonsamdi, he doesn't die, and then if they attack here, they both get frozen, so... I guess it doesn't matter what we do here. I'll just shoot at the one that's going to get injured by attacking. And that force feed's going to happen before Lokholar anyway. So now next turn we can freeze one and get like a Genn summon out. Because we're going to freeze with the Varden battle cry. So that should be safe, and then we'll be good from there because they'll just be frozen. So I'm just kind of cobbling together a strategy based on what treasures I hit. There's also like the Ice Wall on Lokholar that's pretty good, since it can just tank one of the hits. Then you're only worried about one of them. Okay, so we do have the 4-speed coming in here, so we're just going to make a taunt. And that takes care of all of that. And I can't really get a cold snap this turn, so I'll just do some damage. And a Bwonsamdi bounce would do 120 damage to him, so that's going to be fine. Since he did take a hit last turn, if you do use this again, you take the damage before the immunity. So that's something that we could have had to not bounce this turn. But it'll be fine, since we have a low enough Fel anomaly. This isn't like an ideal comp that guarantees a win, so you might want to just use something different. I just picked this because it kills the first boss so fast, and then you can just kind of roll the dice on, is your comp strong enough to beat these guys later? So now, I didn't actually freeze that last turn. So this isn't a guarantee. We don't have a summon this turn, so I kind of have to like expose someone again here. Let me just get them frozen. Because Varden could freeze it, but it also might not. And I do want to keep the Varden alive. That's a more guaranteed finish here. So even if we lose our Balinda this turn, that's fine. This might not even attack though. And it's slowed. Okay, so we're just gonna freeze that, and now we're all set. We'll just get some Frost Ramp, and this isn't gonna get damage boosted by anything in time, so it's probably better to just put like some Frost Weakness here. These are gonna die next turn though, because we'll have Varden and Lokholar with a ramp from Balinda. I could have actually saved that Frostburn for the cleanup. but it shouldn't really matter. And we don't even need to use this water elemental. Or we can swing with it after these die. So I guess Balinda's always going to act first, so we'll just shoot there. And then I'll do a flurry. No, I'll do the hailstorm first, and then we'll do a flurry. And then I'll swing with that last. I think they survive with a couple of things here. Oh, the death rattles go off in between the hits, so Lokholar is going to kill everything. Okay, good to know. I thought that it would stop and just kill the front line, but it activates the death rattles in between the shots, which I've actually seen before, so I should have known that. That happens with like the eggs on Smuggler as well. So there's one option for beating it. And again, it's just Smuggler as the first boss, so anything that beats Smuggler could work. And this comp is probably the most flexible. You just have that longer first fight that you could see in the day 5 video, or on 580 day 4, I believe we had the same SI7 Smuggler, and we used a Medivh comp for that. So this is probably your most flexible comp to have these 3 slots to play around with. Good luck on your run.